So this proposal will put millions of dollars into the Mount Thomas economy. It'll confirm our position.
Voting against this abattoir is not going to do too much for your approval,
But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, this proposal means jobs. Yeah. It's very good for Mount Thomas, which is why I propose to vote in
Better than rushing into something we'll regret later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Noble. Now, if you'd all just quieten down, it's Councillor Riley's turn to speak.
Unlike Councillor Noble, I'm reluctant to put this proposal to the vote until we have had sufficient time to study the full impact of this abattoir on our
Jobs,
community.
that's what. We don't care about anything else.
You don't care about noxious waste, excessive water usage.
Shut up, you mug. Another bloody greenie come to tell us how to run our lives, eh?
Shrink rat from a supermarket.
These people are offering us jobs for our kids. They're short-term jobs.
High technology requires far fewer.
That's enough, Councillor Riley. What you remember?
Bloody Copper's mine. Bloody Copper's park.
Sit down and shut up, and I'll have you removed.
Just try it.
Right, I declare this meeting closed.
Yeah, through the egg, so what? Nobody got hurt.
No thanks to you. And you took a swing at Constable Lawson here.
Sorry, I got a bit carried away.
Yeah, you sure did, mate. You and your mates were getting very razzed up. It's a good thing we stepped in when we did.
I just said what a lot of us feel.
Listen, you're going to have to learn to keep your anger in check. This kind of thing, mate, it doesn't do anybody any good.
You ever been out of work? I didn't think so. I'd like to see how you'd feel if you hadn't had a job in 2 years.
I'm not going to pretend to understand how you feel, mate.
Good, because unless you spend 2 years turning up for interviews where 100 people are after one job, then you don't understand a thing.
OK, I take your point, but I also understand that you can't go around demonstrating your anger whenever and wherever you like.
Whatever.
He's a good boy, Tom, you know that. Looks after me the best he can.
Is Kevin still on the road?
Only comes home to get drunk. Brendan stops him doing too much damage. If Brendan has to go to the city to get work like his brothers, who's going to look after me?
Now, you're going to have to talk some sense into him. Last night's behaviour isn't exactly going to improve his job prospects.
Just wait over here, thanks, Brendan. See those forms, please?
Mum, what are you doing here?
I thought you might need me to go surety for you.
Brendan, you may be charged with assault and various street offences.
I'm sorry, Pat.
You'll be summoned to appear before the magistrate at a date to be fixed. Do you understand this?
Yeah, I get the picture.
OK, we need your fingerprints, mate. Just come over here. You can fill them out.
Oh, boss, can you take that into Chris for me, please? I've just got to...
Oh, not again.
Yes, the tummy bug.
Oh, for goodness sake, go and see the doctor and get her to give you something.
Yep.
Here you go.
Tar.
How are you this morning?
Angry. I've got a bruise on my back. And I've got enough trouble to be going on with.
Well, he's going to be charged with assault.
Good.
I don't know why you just don't go along with town sentiment and vote for this blasted abattoir.
Because I don't want to be pushed into making a decision. Anyway, I haven't said I won't yet.
Well, somebody should have told that to that mob last night.
I didn't get much of a chance, did I? Anyway, we've just got to make sure we get the sums right first. Because if this project doesn't go ahead, there's a good chance of a tourist development getting up in the same area, you know? Just as many construction jobs and a hell of a lot more business activity for the town.
Why can't we have both?
Because they both want the same site by the river. You know, if an abattoir is genuinely good for this town, I'll be the first to support it. I just want to make sure we've got all of our facts first.
Well, next time you decide to have a public meeting, let me know and I'll arrange for reinforcements from St Dave's.
Thanks very much.
Sally, hi.
Hi, Tom.
Sally.
Hi,
Been
Chris.
trying to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I've been out of town. I had my hearing at the Law Institute yesterday.
How did it go?
Sharp slap on the wrist for unprofessional behaviour. Fined $200.
Well, could have been worse.
Plus $800 in costs.
800? That's outrageous.
Well, they tend to frown on the giving away of confidential client information.
I'm sorry, there was really nothing else I could
No,
do.
I blame myself, Tom. I've told you that.
Yeah, well, I still feel partly responsible. Perhaps I could help out with the costs.
Wouldn't feel right about that.
Well, use it as a loan if you'd rather.
No, I can't do it, Tom.
Sally, I don't see why you
I
won't
just
let a friend
don't want to accept
help.
money from you, Tom. I'm not a charity.
Well, I'm not saying that you are.
No, I'm sorry.
Sally, look, I know you've had a... Oh,
Yes, excuse me. Boss, I just had Jenny Noble on the phone. Her father's having a row with the next-door neighbour.
oh, can't you handle it?
Yeah, Maggie just said that the neighbour's an old army mate of yours, Bob Carrick.
Dad just has a real problem with Bob. I don't know, they just don't seem to be able to get on.
How long's this been going on?
Oh, pretty much since Bob moved in. I don't think it helps that Bob and I get along so well.
What the hell? No, what are they up to?
See what I mean?
Crying out loud! Arrest this idiot!
What's going on here?
What are you doing?
Wait, mate.
Would somebody in their right minds like to tell me what's going on? I'm entitled to grow my produce free of chemical contamination.
Everybody sprays in the country, Bob. It's considered good farm management.
Oh, Tom, you're in Vietnam. Do you think Agent Orange was good farm management?
Come on, stick to the point. Alan Noble's not spraying Agent
I
Orange.
can't have chemical drift on my land. In 6 months' time, I apply for initial certification for organic produce.
What sort of stuff are you growing?
Well, herbs and gourmet salad veg.
What sort of herbs?
Medicinal herbs. Dandelion, dock.
Dock. Oh, God, you've gone feral.
No, it's good for the liver and gallbladder. But growing organically is good business sense. You can earn top dollar if you can guarantee it's chemical-free.
Dock. Bit of a change of pace from Darlinghurst, isn't it?
No, you're not wrong there. It's a change of life, Tom.
Ever miss being in the job?
I've blotted my copybook, so it's not an option. Anyway, I like what I'm doing here.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to start doing it within the law. Don't go trespassing on Alan Noble's land.
How do I stop him spraying?
I don't know. Civil remedy's always open to you. Of course, that'll cost you. Much better if you can settle it amicably.
Don't suppose you know a good lawyer?
Yeah, well, come over any time.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thanks for that, Jack.
Sensible young bloke you got there.
Well, let's hope some of it's rubbed off on you. What made you lose your rag like that? You should have more sense, a man your age.
Oh, bloody Carrick. You just got my goat with all that bull dust he's been sprouting.
This isn't just going to go away, you know. You two have to live side by side.
Yeah, old Bill Turner and I used to share spraying costs until he got too old and had to give up farming. No, I really thought this bloke could, bring the property up to scratch. Just my luck to get a middle-aged hippie.
Well, Bob Carrick's hardly that. Ex-Vietnam, ex-copper.
Oh, you know him, do you?
We go back a bit, yeah. Look, I'm sure you can work things out if you just talk to him calmly. He's a reasonable bloke.
Chemical contamination. It's his weeds are contaminating my crops. And he won't do a thing about it. Milk thistle, dandelion, dog, he's got the lot.
Milk thistle supports the liver and gallbladder.
Absolute rubbish.
So does dock.
We have to listen to this.
Just hear him out.
I believe dandelion's a natural diuretic.
Don't you
They're
start.
weeds.
They're medicinal herbs.
And he's growing blackberries. They're classed as a noxious weed.
The leaf is a remedy for diarrhea, and blackberries make a great jam.
Bob, this is the country. Mr. Noble is entitled to manage his property any way he sees fit.
But if his spraying drifts onto my land, it affects my livelihood.
What about my livelihood?
Surely there must be some solution to this.
There is. He makes sure there's no drift onto my land when he sprays.
I'm just doing the responsible thing, and if you try to stop me again, you'll regret it.
That sounds like a threat to me. Now, you're a councillor. Just start behaving like one.
Yeah, that'd be right. Coppers stick together.
I'm putting both of you on notice. Any more trouble from either of you, you'll both be up on charges, understood? Yeah, and McKinley, go to the doctor now.
Temp's up, but there's nothing to worry about. Sounds like the virus that's been laying everyone low.
Yeah, the boss said there was something you could prescribe. There's nothing worse than being on patrol and having to,
The medicine he's talking about does have some side effects. Like, you probably shouldn't drive.
Is there any alternative?
Some of my patients have been using a herbal remedy made up by a local man. They say it's very effective. Here's his name.
Trying to put yourself out of business.
Well, people will always come back here.
Why is that?
Well, the other stuff tastes terrible.
Oh,
is it?
Dr. Farrell's right, it tastes foul.
The stuff I was on was okay. It was nice and pepperminty.
No, this is some herbal remedy made up by your mate, Bob.
What next? Leeches?
He's just over there.
It's too young to retire off to Queensland and watch the beaches erode.
So you got together, I see.
Oh, Tom. Sally was just filling me in on a few strategies for stopping the spraying.
Or no room for negotiation, you don't think?
Oh, yes, but always negotiate from a position of strength.
Oh, absolutely correct. Oh, I like the way she thinks. Grab a pew. Glass of wine?
Oh, no, look, I won't interrupt. Thanks.
What were we talking about?
They're getting on well.
You reckon? Listen, can I have a wine glass, please?
Yeah. Hi.
G'day. Hey, boss. How you doing?
How's Matilda?
Oh, she's not too good. She's off a tucker tonight.
Really?
What, colic?
No, I don't know. Probably not, but I'll check her out first thing in the morning, see how she's going. Come a beer, please.
Sure, I'll get on those phone calls first thing in the morning.
I'm sure if anyone can do it, you can.
Is that offer of a wine still open? Oh. I haven't got to use it.
No, take
Right. Morning, Jack.
Morning.
What the hell was that?
More like who?
Are you all right?
Oh, yeah, just scared the hell out of me, that's all.
Was it deliberate?
Oh, bloody oath. I've got to call Ben.
Oh, my God.
No, there's no way it was accidental. You went straight for the pallet. I mean, I was right behind it.
Did you get a description?
Oh, no, it all happened so fast.
What about the rego number?
Oh, sorry, mate, the plates were covered in mud. But it was a Toyota, four-wheel drive, twin cab, standard suspensions.
Look what I just found.
Oh, well, that narrows it down a bit, doesn't it?
Well, it's not a bad list to be getting along with. McKinley, you and Lawson go and check these names out, will you? See if any of them own a white Hilux twin cab.
Sure.
I'll get onto the garages and smash repair shops too, see what we can come up with.
That's a good shot.
Although with that bull bar, I doubt he even scratched the paintwork.
Yeah. Hey, what about the note?
Well, we're checking it for fingerprints, but I don't fancy our chances.
I can't believe it's going this far. It's only an abattoir.
One of the things you ought to have learned about the country by now, Stuart, is you don't threaten a man's livelihood. There are people out there who really want this job, who really need it. And they're not just going to sit by quietly while somebody gets in their way.
Maybe we should go and have another chat with Brendan Kelly, huh?
Yeah, you might be right.
I was home in bed, had a late night, nothing to get up for.
Did you have anybody with you?
No.
And you didn't deliver anything to the Imperial Hotel?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't drive past there?
I told you I was in bed.
Are you aware that an incident occurred at the Imperial Hotel this morning? Stock damaged and a threatening note delivered?
Nothing to do with me.
Brendan, you were getting pretty vocal at the meeting the other night.
Well, she got up my nose, didn't she? And I'm not the only one.
What sort of car do you drive? Is it four-wheel drive?
No, I don't have a car. I sold it 18 months ago because I couldn't afford to run it.
Do you know anybody who does have four-wheel drive? A friend?
I've got lots of friends. They drive whatever they can afford.
You got some names for us then?
Why, so you can go give them a hard time too?
Brandon.
No way, Kellys aren't doppers.
You're already up for assault, mate. You'd have to be a fool to keep talking like this.
I got nothing more to say to you.
All right, so 2 handfuls.
Mrs. Kelly, can I get you anything?
No,
Yeah,
thanks.
bit of dandelion leaf, mix it straight in. Okay. Okay, thanks, Dad. Bye-bye.
Hi. Did you find out anything?
No, not yet.
My boy's in custody because of you.
Is he? Well, somebody destroyed stock at my hotel.
You've got a job and a future. Brendan's got neither.
Well, that is no excuse to go around injuring people or destroying property.
I didn't say that he did it. But if he did, you put yourself in his shoes. That abattoir is the first bit of hope he's had, and you want to take it away.
Look, I sympathise. I really do.
Sympathy doesn't pay the bills. Can you give Brendan a job?
No, I can't.
Well, don't talk about sympathy to me. We voted for you because we thought you were on our side. You go against us on this one, and I promise you'll regret it.
Goodbye, Mrs. Kelly.
Councillor Riley,
Councillor Noble.
I want to see Tom Croydon. Bob Carrick and his lawyer have sued the Department of Agriculture onto me. And if they want to fight dirty, two can play at that game.
I've already warned you about making threats.
Oh, I'm not making threats. I've come in here as a concerned citizen.
All right, Alan, what are your concerns?
G'day, fellas. Lovely day for it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
What do you think?
Very nice.
Fancy a coldie?
Don't be stupid.
Cuppa.
No thanks, Bob. Now, we have reason to believe that you're growing cannabis and we've got a warrant to search.
I don't know anything about them. I certainly didn't plant them.
Well, they look well tended, cultivated, in fact. Someone kept the weeds at bay.
Well, not me. Maybe the previous owner.
Oh, I don't see old Bill Turner as a dope fiend. Anyway, you should have reported them.
If I didn't know anything about them, how could I?
Bob, do you expect us to believe that?
Well, it's up to you to prove otherwise.
They were on your property. You could be up for possession.
Only if I knew they were there. Besides, possession of half a dozen plants is a slap on the wrist, Tom, and you know it.
So what were you planning to do with it?
I wasn't planning to do anything with it.
Bob, there is such a thing as intent to traffic.
It would be hard going to prove it. No scales, no placky bags, no drying leaves.
You don't seem to realise how much trouble you're in.
I've got nothing more to say.
Bob's an ex-copper. He knows the score.
Well, maybe he thinks he's an exception, especially since you're old mates.
He knows better than to ask me to overlook a breach of the rules.
Well, he's broken the rules before.
And it cost him his job.
You have to admit, boss, he's a bit out there.
I just don't believe he would do something like this.
Well, people change.
Not that much.
Do we think he could be covering for someone?
Maybe he's telling the truth. He didn't know they were there.
Well, somebody does, because the plants are being tended to, and you think that Bob would know if anyone had been on his land.
Well, does he have any family or anyone who has access to the
Not
property?
that I know of.
Well, if he is covering for someone, he's not going to tell us who it is.
If he is covering for someone, it's our job to find out who. Now, is there any access to that spot that isn't through Bob's land?
No, just through Bob's property or Alan Noble's.
All right. Well, there's a starting point.
You've got to be joking. I mean, just because he grows herbs, everyone assumes he's some kind of hippie stoner.
We're really just going on what we found.
Well, you're barking up the wrong tree. Do you mind if you pass me the...
Oh. Do you know him very well?
Yeah, pretty well. Keeps me sane, I can tell you.
So, say friends?
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's non-judgmental, just funny, easy to work.
Jenny, have you noticed anybody unfamiliar hanging around this property or Mr. Carrick's?
No, not that I can think of.
So you don't know anything about it?
Why would I? Do you mind if I sit down?
Oh, yeah.
When's the baby due?
About 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am actually. Well, my dad's nearly jumping out of his skin. God knows what state it'll be in when I have the baby.
What's going on?
Nothing, Dad.
Well, Bob Carrick and I's cultivating cannabis.
Look, the only access to that bit of land is through his property or mine, and I certainly didn't plant the filthy stuff.
Nobody's accusing you, Mr. Noble. We're just trying to ascertain who might have planted the crop.
Anybody but your mate, the ex-copper, eh? It's obvious you're out to protect him. Look, you tell Tom Croydon that I'll take this matter over his head if I have to.
Right. You let him go.
He's hardly likely to do a runner.
Well, Noble's screaming a cover.
Let him. We'll lay charges when we're good and ready, not because he's kicking up a stink. Now, what about the girl?
Well, you'd think that if she had anything to do with it, she'd be trying to dump Bob in it, not defend him.
And no one's seen anyone else on the properties?
Not that they're saying.
Jennifer Ann Noble, prize for trafficking in marijuana, pretty small scale, conviction for possession of heroin, suspended on condition that she enter a rehab program, and that was 6 months ago.
Well,
it's time for a leopard to change its spots.
She is pregnant.
Yeah, she was pregnant when she last got busted.
Oh, she's got prize, she's got access to the property.
Let's get a warrant.
Yeah, be sure to go through everything. I wouldn't want to spoil your fun.
Excuse me, sir.
I know why you're doing this. To get your copper mate off the hook.
Dad.
Look, why don't you leave her alone? She's doing the right thing now.
It's yours, Mr. Noble?
How do we know someone didn't just put that
Is
there?
it yours, sir?
No, it's not. Don't think you're going to get away with this.
Jenny?
Don't say anything.
I'm afraid you're going to have to come down to the station with us, Jenny. Do you want to grab a jacket or something?
I don't know how it got there.
Those plants on Bob's land, they were yours, weren't they, Jenny?
Don't know anything about them.
Jenny, Bob is an ex-copper. Now, magistrates take a very dim view to coppers getting involved with drugs.
Especially if they're trafficking. Now, I thought Bob was a friend of yours. Do you really want to get him into that sort of trouble?
He doesn't have anything to do with this.
Jenny, did he sell you the cannabis?
No.
Or did he supply it to you?
No. I found the plants down by the creek and I helped myself. Bob doesn't know anything about it.
So you smoked the odd joint, yeah?
Yeah, I smoke sometimes. It's better for my baby than smack.
Well, better still if you went completely straight.
Look, you don't have my life, so don't try to tell me what I should do, all right?
Okay, so, Jenny, who grew the dope?
I don't know. I don't feel too well. Have you got a toilet or something?
Everything all right?
She's not feeling very well.
Jenny, can I get you anything?
Old Noble's just told me you brought Jenny in for questioning. He's pretty upset about it.
Are you warning us or asking for protection?
Neither. I've come to tell you I'm the one responsible for that dope. Jenny had nothing to do with it.
So now you're saying you grew the cannabis?
I didn't say that.
So what are you saying?
I said I was responsible for it. It was growing on my land and I failed to report it.
So what are we planning to do with it?
Why would I be planning to do anything with it?
So it's not one of your medicinal herbs?
Marijuana is particularly useful in cases of nausea and loss of appetite as a result of chemotherapy or AIDS. It's also an effective treatment for glaucoma.
So you're claiming you were growing it for medicinal purposes?
That would involve me in trafficking.
Yes, that's right, Bob, it would.
Look, I found the plants, I failed to report them, that's it.
How much cannabis have you supplied to Jenny Noble?
What?
Well, do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I didn't supply Jenny Noble or anyone else with anything.
Mr. Carrick, when you came in here, you stated that you were responsible for the cannabis.
I've already told you I failed to report it, that's all.
Well, a quantity of cannabis was found in Jenny Noble's possession. Now, when you came to us, you stated that you were responsible. Is that not right?
I think I need to confer with my solicitor.
I'm amazed we got anything out of Bob, considering he knows the routine as well as we do.
What is he thinking? I mean, he ought to know better.
I don't know, but I think he's protecting Jenny Noble, don't you?
Why? Oh, Sally can get some sense out of him. Sally, come on through.
Right. Yeah, and Sally?
I was hoping you could talk to Bob. He's obviously not giving us the full story.
I'll give my client the advice appropriate to a situation. That may involve full disclosure, it may not.
We're going to have to charge him.
Tom, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. Now, could I see my client alone, please?
Hey, that looks like the four-wheel drive that nearly hit me this morning.
You sure?
Yeah, too right.
Well, what's he doing? He's not racing away, but he's not pulling over.
No idea.
Can you pull up alongside him?
Give me some room, I might.
He's a worse driver than you. Wait, your engine? Can I have your full name and address, please, sir?
Peter Moss, 102 Catches Gorge Road, Mount Thomas.
May I see your licence, please?
I was doing the limit. Haven't you got anything better to do with your time?
No, not really. Who owns this vehicle, sir?
Me and the bank?
Were you driving it this morning?
Dunno, maybe.
We have reason to believe this vehicle was involved in a collision at the Imperial Hotel about 7:30 this morning. Were you driving the car then?
No.
Who was?
Dunno.
Okay, we just have to come down to the station and answer a few questions for us then.
What for? I told you I wasn't driving.
So who was?
This isn't fair. I'm on my way to work. I can't take time off. I'll lose my job.
Well, tell us who was driving the car this morning and we'll let you go on your way.
Look, I already told the other cops. I don't know nothing about the damage at the Imperial.
Your mate Peach told us different. He's a bit dark on you, Brendan.
You satisfied with your treatment by the police here
No,
today?
it's been delightful. Good. So what happens now?
You'll be charged with possession of marijuana and summons to appear before a magistrate at the date to be fixed.
Oh, fair enough. Come on, Sally. Police stations make me hungry. Let's discuss my defence over lunch.
Sounds good to me.
Ugh. So what can I do for you?
Yeah, I've come to pick up the lunches.
Is the world come to an end and I haven't been told?
Oh, very funny.
Won't be too...
No, I don't. Oh, I see.
Oh, boss! Brendan's decided to put his hand up for that incident at the Imperial this morning.
You charged him yet?
We're about to. Conduct endangering life.
Look, I didn't mean to... When you came round that corner, I almost had a heart attack.
That's all very well. But what if it had been Chris Riley or a barman? They may not have been able to jump out of the way quickly enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a bloody stupid thing to do.
Yes, it's a poor mulligan, I say.
Boss, we're about to head out on patrol. You want us to stop at the Imperial and tell Chris?
Yeah, all right, good idea.
We want to know how you're going to vote at the council meeting tonight.
Look, I've already told you. I'm not going to speak to you while you're in this condition. Will you just go on off home and sleep it off?
It's our kids and our futures that you're deciding.
Yeah, it's all right for you.
Okay, mate, that's enough. You've been asked to leave.
She should just answer the question.
Eddie, just give it a rest, all right?
Bloody coppers. Why don't you go find some crooks to pick on?
Eddie, if you want to spend a few hours in the cells, I'll be happy to accommodate you. Otherwise, get some of your mates to take you home.
I don't need anyone to help me home.
Okay, show us where to man you off. You go.
This is Kelly. We've arrested Brendan for the damage that was done here this morning. I asked you to go. You put your drinks down.
You know, I don't know that a seat on the council's worth all this aggro. I'm starting to feel really sick. Sam, could you get me a glass of water? Oh!
Chris,
Chris, you want
Get an ambulance, mate. Chris.
What did you have for lunch? Any seafood?
No, ham sandwich from the pub kitchen.
We get our lunches there every day. Kitchen's spotless.
We're running tests on the contents of her stomach. The sooner we know what we're dealing with, the better.
Oh.
She should get some rest now.
Oh, it's the council meeting. I've got a vote today.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, forget it. You're not going anywhere for at least 24 hours.
Oh.
I'll drop back later.
Thanks.
Is it possible that she could have taken some other type of poison accidentally?
Adults don't generally poison themselves accidentally.
Hang on, are we serious? Someone's actually trying to poison Chris?
Well, considering she's been hospitalised, I think we have to take it seriously. There are a lot of people out there who are very agitated about this abattoir business.
Well, the obvious suspects are the people who were at the pub when Chris collapsed.
What about Eddie?
He's too busy poisoning his liver.
Well, has she received any other threats apart from Brendan's name?
Oh, Pam Kelly was pretty aggro this morning. She was at the pub. Maybe she slipped something into Chris's drink.
Pam Kelly, a poisoner.
That's crazy.
Well, you've been pretty fired up about this business at the abattoir.
Yeah, along with the rest of the town.
But, Mrs. Kelly, you were heard to threaten Miss Riley this morning here at the station.
I was angry. Geez, I still am. My boy needs a job. I don't want to lose all my family to the city.
What, so you thought you could help?
If I thought cutting off my right arm would help, I'd do it. But I'd never try to poison someone. Nothing in this world is worth killing for.
But it's known that Miss Riley's vote would be the decider, so maybe you just
Mr.
thought...
Hasham, what you are suggesting is a sin.
Mount Thomas, please
Of course I believe her. She's not going to poison anybody.
couldn't agree more, Benjamin. I mean, she is a God-fearing woman after all.
I mean, how do we know it wasn't just food poisoning or that stomach bug coming back for an action
That's
replay?
the point. We don't know for sure,
Dr.
do we?
Farah
We
is
don't.
certain it was poisoning. If it had been food poisoning, she would have expected to see more cases.
Boss, that was Alan Noble. Jenny's collapsed and he wants us out there.
Has he called an ambulance?
Yeah, he said they're on their way, but he thinks she's been poisoned.
Get on to Doyle and Lawson. See how long it'll take them to get there.
Around here! Hurry!
All right, mate, the ambos are on the way. Just come up here for me.
Can you hear me, Jenny? Can you hear
This
me?
is bloody Carrick's fault. He poisoned her.
Mr. Carrick poisoned her.
Oh, well, she's been trying to hide it, but it's that bloody herbal rubbish you gave her. That's what did this.
What makes you think that?
Well, why else would she be in this state? Look, I'll try and find the bottle for you. They'll need it for testing, won't you?
Yeah, OK, just wait and see what the ambos have to say.
Just hold her up.
She all right? She all
Yeah, I
right?
just need to loosen the pressure up. It's all right, Jenny, some help's on its way. It's all right. I think the baby's coming. I know, it's all right. You just... I think it's more likely to be this.
Dad, here.
Right, we need help. Who's coming? Try and breathe.
She's in labour and a membrane's eruption.
It could be an overdose. We found heroin on her.
Honestly, she wouldn't have taken that. It's this damn stuff Bob Carrick's been
No.
giving her.
Okay, well, let's get your daughter attended to first. Slow pulse, depressed respiration. You may be right about the drugs.
I'm not on any stuff.
She's certainly in labour.
She's been poisoned, I'm telling you. It isn't drugs.
Mr. Noble, let us attend to your daughter. This way, thanks, gentlemen.
I want to go with her. This isn't her fault.
I know you do now. I'm sure they won't be long and I'll take very good care of Mr. Noble.
Jenny swore she was off heroin. She knew what it'd do to the baby.
Mr. Noble, addicts can be very convincing.
Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand how much she wanted to stay away from this stuff. For the baby. I believed her.
I know you did. Is that the bottle?
Yes.
I'll take it and get it tested for you, okay?
Thank you.
How you doing?
Just my throat's still sore, but apart from that, I was bright as a bower of birds, as my gran used to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, but we've come empty-handed.
It's all right. I don't think even Belgian chocolates could tempt me at the moment.
Hey, Chris, you had the tummy bug, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was a walk in the park compared to this.
Were you taking any of
The mixture that Bob Carrick makes up?
Yeah, it's really good stuff. I'm on my second bottle of it.
Where do you keep it?
I've got some in my bag. I was going to take it to the council meeting just then. It's really good stuff. What's up? Do you think this might have something to do with the poisoning?
It's probably nothing.
But Jenny and Chris both took the remedy and now they're both in hospital.
Mum and they're still on a heroin overdose.
Did she have much?
It's hard to say. She's been clean for 6 months, so she wouldn't actually need very much.
Maggie? Yep. Both samples of Bob's mix have been contaminated with a chemical toxin.
Come in. Before it fell. No, Tom. Yeah, just time for a cuppa.
This is business, I'm afraid.
Hello, Tom. You should try this. Oh.
Well, as I said, this is business. Chris Riley and Jenny Noble have been taken to hospital.
What happened?
We're not sure, but your herbal mixture seems to be implicated.
Are they all right?
Who else has a bottle of that particular mixture?
Well, I made up a fresh batch for Chris. She and Jenny were the only ones who had bottles. Jenny was feeling queasy.
You're absolutely sure that nobody else had a bottle from that batch?
Positive.
What's all this about, Tom?
Perhaps you should gather your bottles together and we can continue this down at the station.
Tom? Surely you can't believe Bob's responsible for this. You know this man, he's a terrific person.
Doesn't alter the fact that 2 people are in hospital after taking his herbal medicine, which had been laced with something poisoned.
Well, somebody must have put it there.
Somebody would have had to have snuck in with split-second timing, tampered with the bottles, and then snuck out again without even knowing where the bottles were going to go. It's a pretty big gall.
So is believing that Bob Carrick poisoned his own tinctures.
You think I don't know that?
I don't know.
Sally, I'm doing everything I can to get to the bottom of this. But I can't ignore the fact that Chris and Jenny Noble could both have been killed.
I understand that.
Good.
All right, let's get on with it.
So exactly what's in the mixture?
Mugwort, fennel, peppermint and marshmallow. It's all completely harmless.
Well, how's it prepared?
Well, normally as a tincture. You steep the herbs in alcohol for a few weeks and the tincture's filled it off.
You said normally?
Well, I run out of fennel tincture, so I juiced a fresh bulb. Doesn't keep as well, but it'll do the trick.
Is there any way that mixture could have been contaminated?
All my stuff's chemical-free. Even the tinctures I use are organic, see?
Well, do you normally keep the place locked?
Oh, this is the country, not King's Cross. Anyway, I'm there most of the time.
So somebody could have got in and tampered with that particular batch?
Well, timing would have to be spot on, but I suppose it's possible.
Doctor, I got your message.
Oh. Here you go. At least forensics know what they're looking for. If the bottles do test positive, you're dealing with a pretty disturbed individual. It looks like it's sodium arsenite.
That's the poison. Is it common?
No, not common at all. Its use has been banned for over 10 years. Mind you, somebody's bound to have some lying around in a shed still.
How's Jenny Noble?
Mother and daughter doing well. And by the way, we were both wrong about the drugs. Her blood toxicology's come back clear for heroin.
Hello. Hi, how are you feeling? Okay. The doctor said that the blood screen tested negative for heroin. I could have told you that. Then why were you hanging on to it? Because I'm not good at pain. And I was so scared I'd mess this up. So I was smoking the odd joint when I felt too fragile. And if I couldn't do that, who knows when I would have taken it. She's really beautiful. Yeah. It was worth it. Dr. Farrow says she's going to be fine. I really hope that you keep it that way. I'm going to try. How's Chris?
On the mend, I think. She should be out shortly.
Excuse me, Tom, can I see you for a moment?
You all right?
It's Brendan.
What's the problem?
He probably only meant to make her sick, but it's not right.
What are you saying? You're saying Brendan poisoned Chris Riley?
I think he might have.
Let's take a seat. All right, Pam, would you like to take it from the top?
It was a couple of days ago. Brendan was working in the garden. He was using some spray on the drive. Well, he said the weeds were breaking up the concrete.
Go on.
This morning, I saw the dead weeds. Well, the stuff takes a while to work.
Yeah, it's called systemic weed killer. It kills the plants from the roots up.
Well, then I heard why Chris was sick, and I remembered the weed killer.
Did you ask Brendan about it?
Yeah, he denied it. But he lied to me about the damage at Chris's pub, and this is much worse.
Does Brendan know Bob Carrick?
I don't think so. Oh, they had that slanging match at the abattoir meeting, but I don't think they'd met before then. I don't know what's come over him. I mean, I know he wouldn't have meant to kill her. He's a good boy, Tom.
It just doesn't sit right. It means he'd have to leave here, get over to Bob, find the tincture, spike a couple of them, or all.
And he would have to know that Chris was going to get one of the bottles he spiked.
And he'd have to know that he was putting others' lives at risk.
That's a really creepy thing to do.
Look, I know some of the Kelly boys. They're a bit rough, but I wouldn't have thought they'd do something like this.
Agreed, but isn't this a stronger poison?
That was forensic. All of the tinctures have been clear. There's no sodium arsenite.
So it was only the special batch you mixed up for Chris and Jenny?
Yeah, seems like it.
So how did the weed killer get in there unless Bob put it there?
I wonder.
Tom, I already told you I don't keep any weed killers or pesticides near the
Yeah, but you told me that you juiced a fresh bulb of fennel for that mixture you gave Chris. Now, if that plant had been sprayed with an obsolete weed killer, is it possible it would have been in the bulb before you juiced it?
I suppose it's possible.
Well, can we have a look? This fence line's all been sprayed.
Bloody hell. I'll kill that bastard.
Mr. Noble, are you aware that somebody sprayed your neighbour's crops with herbicide?
Crops? Weeds, you mean?
Were you responsible?
Well, maybe some of his other neighbours are as fed up with him as I am.
Do you have herbicides on your property?
Well, yeah, of course, but so does every other household. I mean, you get plant pests just like you get insect pests. And I kill them off, just like every other responsible farmer in the district, except for bloody Carrick.
Did you spray Bob Carrick's property with weed killer?
Why would I waste my time and money spraying somebody else's property? Look, can I go now? Visiting hours will be almost over.
Mr. Noble, you'd be aware that Chris Riley didn't make it to the council meeting last night.
Well, she knew she was going to lose, so she didn't have the guts to front up and face us.
No, she didn't front up. She was in hospital. She'd been poisoned.
Well, is she all right?
She's hanging in there.
Well, how? How did it happen?
Sodium arsenite. In the herbal mix that Bob Carrick gave her.
It was the same one that Jenny was using. You were right about the tincture being poisoned.
Only it wasn't Bob who was responsible. That stuff is lethal, Alan.
What do you reckon? Let him sweat it out or what?
He's probably sweated enough. Put himself through the ringer by now.
I didn't mean to hurt them, I swear. I mean, Jenny and the baby mean the world to me. I never meant to hurt anyone. I just wanted to protect my farm.
You do realise what the consequences could have been?
Well, I didn't think it could...
All right. Let's get this over with and we'll get you out of the hospital.
It's not just that Noble's killed off part of my crop. I've lost any hope of initial certification as an organic grower for at least 3 years.
Why is that? You don't use pesticides, you said so.
The land itself has to be completely chemical-free for 3 years. It took me 6 months to find a suitable place. Noble's ruined all that work in an hour.
What are you going to do? I'll find somewhere else.
I don't know. I like Mount Thomas. I like the people. Most of them. Yeah, some of them very much. See, that Sally Downey's an attractive woman. Do you know if she's attached?
You'd have to ask her that.
You're smart, too. At least I found myself a good solicitor.
Oh, that's a good thing, because we're going to have to charge you with possession.
Yeah,
You
look, I
realise.
know. Look, I didn't have anything to do with growing
You
that
shouldn't
stuff.
be telling me.
I want to. It's pretty much what I told you anyway. I did find it there. I also found out young Jenny was taxing it. I figured if it kept her away from the hard stuff.
Why didn't you tell us this when we were questioning you?
You know, the lovely Sally asked me exactly the same question.
So I guess you'll be representing Jenny Noble, Sal.
Yep, Bob's engaged me on her behalf.
That's very generous of you, Bob. No, not really. By the time I finish suing her father, I'll be able to afford it and he won't.
Everybody, look who I've got.
Committed in a bit of a failure.
Oh, come on, you didn't fail. You just didn't make it to the meeting.
Thank you.
Chris, I've been thinking, have you had a good look at their environmental impact statements?
No, I haven't. Would you be interested in doing that?
It makes things difficult enough for them. They may decide to go elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Clever woman, this one.
Well, I better head off upstairs. I think it's been quite a couple of days.
Hey, won't stay for another bottle?
No, but you guys go right ahead. I'll see you later.
No, Chris.
See you later. The white?
Yes, I think so.
Look, I'd better be going.
Oh, no, stay for another glass.
Look, I don't think so. I mean, you know what they say. Three's a crown.
Bob.
Yes.
Oh, you dear silly man. Look, he's an interesting person. He could become a very good friend, but that's it. He's not like you. Come here. Will you stay for another drink?
I'll stay on you if you ask like that.
Ah, the Three Musketeers.